I will start now the questioning with the official opposition. MPP Bantov, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And I'd like to start off by congratulating you both on your ministries and thanking you both for your work and thanking all the staff of the both ministries. Our job is to hold the government to account, but I think on agriculture and rural affairs, we have agreed more often than we have disagreed. And that's, I think that's a testament to how near and dear we all hold the backbone of our economy, and that we all come from rural Ontario and we understand rural Ontario. And on that, I would like to first wish everyone a happy Agriculture Week. Yes. Right? So the week before Thanksgiving is Agriculture Week. And I would like to also take a minute of our time, which I would have done in the legislature had the government not chosen to shut it till October 21st, and recognize someone who you know, Minister Flack, who passed, who was a testament to agriculture, Bruce Lees, who I bought feed from, who worked for you when you worked with Master Feeds. And someone like Bruce, although we did not share political views, I think he was much closer to your political view than mine, but it's people like Bruce who are the basis of the agri-food industry in this province. And with that, I would like to switch to some of the issues of the day. So I think we can all agree that the foundational building block of our agricultural, agribusiness, agri-food sector is farmland. I believe, Minister, you said that we are second in output per acre in North America only to California. That's a great stat. So I think we can all agree that every acre is important. Mr. Gazzetto said that people complain when we build on brownfields and people complain when we build on farmland. You can't grow on brownfields. Just let's make that plain. And the issue of the day is Wilmot, the land Wilmot, and I don't want to go deep into that really. I have a couple specific questions though. So did the Ministry of Agriculture do an agricultural impact assessment on those parcels of land before the province or while the province was embarking on the process of trying to assemble it?
Well, thank you. And first of all, thanks for recognizing Bruce Lees, a great friend, a great colleague, and most importantly, a champion for Northern Ontario. Mm-hmm. And he was a character, to say the least, but a great friend and going to be missed. And as I always said to Bruce, we used to tease each other about a lot of different things, but his passion was worn on his sleeve, and you never had to guess what he was thinking. Nope. Never for a second. With regard to agricultural impact assessments, our ministry does not do them. Third parties do them. And with respect to anything related to Wilmot, I hope you understand that is also under the purview of the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, working with the region. It's a ground game there. The region does their work to assemble the land. We support them in the purchase of the land. So anything with respect to agricultural impact assessments can be deferred to that ministry.
So judging from that answer, and Minister Thompson said that this government, particularly this government, does not work in silos. The ministries work together. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing, is that the Ministry of Agriculture had nothing to do with the process regarding whether or not keeping that land in agriculture is important or not.
So again, the region runs the ground game. They assemble the land. We're looking at millions of dollars, billions of dollars of investments in this province. We're a growing province, as you know. Since you and I were in high school, the province has doubled in size, basically. And they're living everywhere. I grew up in a little town called Streetsville, as you know. It was 6,000 people. It's now part of Mississauga. The farm I used to drive my bike to milk cows and bale hay and do regular farm chores is now covered in housing, right along the Credit River. That being said, it's a balance, isn't it? We need to balance between a growing economy, bringing in billions of investments like we've never seen in the history of Ontario, and everyone needs a job to be able to afford food, to be able to afford a home, And I think this government has proven that we're doing a good job at that. Again, it's with a balance to make sure we protect our best farmland where possible.
Okay, and you know what? I don't disagree with the balance, but part of the balance is actually looking at the importance. So what I have heard so far is that no one actually, in assembling this project or future projects, and let's be clear, a lot of the financing didn't come from the region. So we're talking about balance, but if you're going to talk about balance, you're actually going to have to look at both sides, and I didn't hear this. So just because we've built on farmland before, that isn't the balance that I'm hearing. So has an impact assessment, and I'm going to leave it at this one, but has an impact assessment at any time been carried out, or will it be carried out on farmland, on Class 1 farmland that we are losing for other uses? And we'll use Wilmot as an example. So you just said, Minister, there's a balance. Well, to decide what the balance is and if the government is balanced or not, you actually have to conduct some kind of assessment. So if such an assessment has been conducted by any ministry regarding the land in Wilmot, could you please produce it?
Again, and we'll use the word balance, this whole process was, the ground game was run by the Region of Waterloo. They put their hand up. They said, we have lost billions of dollars in investment over the years, lost, I think their estimate is 14,000 jobs because it went to other areas, other parts of the North America, the United States, to build these infrastructure projects. So Wilmot put their hand up. And what we say is that you run the ground game. You know your area better than we do. You know your municipalities better than we do. Think if the province came in and said, here's the land we're going to choose, here's what we're going to do. There'd be a hue and outcry. So what we've done is we've said to the region, please run the ground game. You assemble the land. We'll help fund the land when you assemble it. They know their area best. So they put their hand up. This is what they wanted to do. And again, I would refer you to Minister Fideli's statements when he was here, I think, a week or two ago, and refer you to the comments with respect to the process at Wilmot.
I thank you for that answer. So, and both ministers, I respect you both. You both have farms. You both have agricultural legacies which your families are proud of. And we have all bought and sold land. But it's a bit different what the government is doing here. So I have bought and sold farms. Just a few years ago, sold the dairy farm that I built up over 25 years. But there's a piece of land across the road from that dairy farm I will never sell because I watched my father die on that piece of land. But under the Wilmot process, you're saying that if that was my farm, either you sell it or the government is going to expropriate it. You want to talk about a hue and outcry? There's a difference here between willingly buy and sell or willingly you are forced to sell. And I get expropriation for public structures. But expropriation for basically, I get the economics for an industrial park or for a big industrial center. I get the economics. Willingly sold or forced to sell are two different things. You want to talk about hue and outcry. If my farm was there and the land where I watched my father die on, you told me that for economic purposes, you know what? You just go stand in the corner. I can't believe, I honestly can't believe that is okay. I don't know how else to make this argument. And you can say, oh, that's not exactly how it worked, but We've talked to those people. And this is a precedent across the province. You talk about balance. And owning a farm is a pretty personal thing. And if you want to sell the farm, I said, we've all sold farms. And we've all bought farms. But I've never been forced off mine. You want to talk about hue and outcry. And because maybe it's only one or two people. But I can't believe that the government is basically condoning and supporting this.
So I would just say a couple of things to reply to your statement. Number one, this whole concern really started at the region. The whole issue started when the region threatened expropriation. The province didn't, at the onset of the whole land assembly process. We have never approved expropriation. We were never consulted on expropriation, and the same remains today. The Premier made it clear last week at the flying match that we just want to make sure that we treat the farmers fairly. We all know at some point these deals come to our table. Look, I live in Elgin, Middlesex, London. We just did Volkswagen. I believe you folks supported that initiative, if I'm not mistaken. We did. And guess what? Not 1 ounce of land was expropriated. It was done in a fair, equitable, negotiating fashion. And we've got 3,000 new jobs coming to our region, 30,000 tertiary jobs on a wonderful situation. And yes, you and I both agree. We want to preserve as much of our best land as possible. Absolutely. Absolutely. But at the same time, never once have we said we were expropriating. Again, we never approved expropriation from the beginning. We were never consulted on expropriation. So the game is run
as the
on
upper
ground
body of government,
by
did
the
you ever
province.
say that expropriation by the region, that you would not consider the deal if the region expropriated?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So at any time, did the Premier or the government tell the region that that you would not support this initiative if land was expropriated?
So I would then refer you to Minister Fedeli, because we were not part of those discussions. Minister Fedeli in the region of Waterloo and Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. But again, I want to repeat, the region runs the ground game. We were not consulted about this. We were not asked to.
But you are a level of government above the region.
We are not putting the land assembly together. We are funding the purchase of the land. I think we all understand.
But those who fund also dictate the rules. Come on, let's be serious. If you're putting up the funding, you're dictating. Anyone in any kind of business knows this. So you can point at another level, but he or she who funds the process dictates the rules. So if the funding partner said, no expropriation, we get this, we want you to create jobs, but we do not condone, nor will we support expropriation, there would be no expropriation. So, and I'm talking about this same argument can be used anywhere across the province. No, it's not us, it's them. It's not us, it's them. This sets a terrible, terrible, terrible precedent.
I would refer you to Volkswagen and St. Thomas in Elgin County. Never once was expropriation talked about.
I agree.
Number two, we never approved expropriation. We were never consulted on expropriation. And again, for specifics, I would refer you to the Ministry of Economic
And you never
Trade,
shut
Job.
it down either.